Switzerland, home of psychologist Dr. Bertolt Meyer. Two years ago, technology transformed Bertolt's life. He was fitted with the most advanced bionic hand on the market.
You can already do something that none of the rest of us can do. Go on, do it, your party trick. Yeah. Brilliant.
Bertolt's arm is the product of an extraordinary technological revolution in bionics.
They're not just bits of technology, these are potential parts of a human body.
Now, Bertolt's going on a guided tour of our future to find out if man-made bodies will one day be better than our own.
Today, I've seen a hybrid between a chip and a living brain. Absolutely futuristic.
He'll create the world's first bionic man that can get off the slab and walk among us. Some of the UK's leading scientists will help to build a clone of his whole body. From his fingertips to his beating heart.
So we got all the organ in now, so we're ready to put the blood in and circulate.
When Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, she warned what might go wrong when we try to recreate life. Will Bertolt's team succeed where Frankenstein failed?
How do you feel, Bertolt?
Or will this technology unleash a monster? Dr. Frankenstein was a young Swiss scientist who dreamt of creating a beautiful creature from a collection of body parts.
I've looked around for new bionic technologies out of personal interest for a very long time, and I feel like until 5 or 6 years ago, nothing much was happening, and then suddenly now we get this explosion of innovation.
Bertolt's hand may be worth £30,000, but he still needs to visit his clinic for occasional fine-tuning.
Macht sie manchmal nicht, was sie soll. Oder was halt auch natürlich schön ist, ist irgendwie dieser hier, ja, dass du irgendwie am Bahnhof stehst und dann passiert halt irgendwie das, so. Und dann denkt man so, jetzt, und die Leute gucken, ja.
Bertolt was born without a left hand.
When I was growing up, I hated wearing artificial hands. The plastic hands always looked fake. They had this flesh-colored plastic. It just looked awkward. I didn't like it at all. And the metal hooks were useful in some circumstances, but they just looked scary and frightened people. Now that I have this one, I feel that the hand is a part of me because it is connected so well, it moves so effortlessly, and it's so easy to control. And this has given me a much stronger sense of confidence. So now, if I don't wear it, I feel that there's something missing.
Bertolt's going to find out just how far this new technology can go. First, he's going to meet the roboticists who are building the mainframe of his bionic doppelganger.
That box has the hand that goes with my elbow.
Ah, okay, let's have a look at the hand. Nice.
Frankenstein was written in Switzerland 200 years ago as a horror story. Today, we're kind of rewriting that story in a very different way.
How do you do?
Very good, sir.
I think we are now at a point where we can build a body that is great and gorgeous and beautiful in its own special way. Wow.
We haven't got the measurements quite right, obviously. We'll have to work on that.
Oh, this seems to be very much my hand.
Yeah.
Have you seen it working?
Well, I'm seeing it working now.
The Bionic Man will be built from prosthetic parts worth almost $1 million, the products of billions of dollars worth of research. When finished, he will reveal how close technology is to catching up with the human body.
I'm a bit afraid that we'll create something that will look very, very scary in the end. From a user perspective, if it looks awkward, you know, I wouldn't be wearing this. So I just hope that it won't look
Quite as disturbing as the picture does.
I will always feel a little nervous about it because one of my hands is the exact same model that's lying there on the table. And I do have a very emotional connection to this hand. So of course I'm a little nervous what will happen to this artificial version of, well, me.
Technology's moving so fast, Bertolt's hand could soon be out of date.
When I drive, I need an addition to the steering wheel, this spinning knob here. It's very useful for spinning the steering wheel quickly, more quickly than I can with the prosthesis. I hate this thing. It's really ugly. This looks like something that's made for disabled people. I hate that.
A more advanced arm is just around the corner. In recent years, the US military has poured more than $100 million into bionic limb research. At a lab in Baltimore, Bertolt's going to be only the third person to try out the latest military prototype.
I fear I might see something that I really want, but that I will be unable to get. So a little bit, I actually hope that it won't be as good as I fear it is.
Right in through here.
In here?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Wow.
So these are the MPLs.
Oh, wow. That is pretty amazing.
These are
Wow.
arms that we've designed over about the past 5 or 6 years.
Well, first of all, they look beautiful. Hello. So who's controlling this? Oh! Ah!
The arm's designed to be like a human arm in every aspect.
So does that mean that it can do all the movements that a human arm can do?
Just about. The human arm has 27 degrees of movement. This arm has a total of 26. So we've replicated virtually all the levels of movement that the human hand has.
So let's compare here. The only thing that I can do with my wrist is rotate it, whereas this can actually move the wrist. And that really is a big difference because, you know, oh God, this is so good. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Do a couple movements for me. So do like a hand open.
So open is...
Prosthetics are controlled by tiny electrical pulses given out by muscles in the upper arm.
And just here.
Yeah, just there.
While Bertolt's limb uses 2 electrodes to detect these pulses, this arm uses up to 16, opening up a range of movements usually out of Bertolt's reach.
Now, which one do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the rotation or do you want to start with the flex extend?
Oh, I'd like the flex extend because that I never had.
Okay. Now, we're actually going to train the system, and we're going to start with your hand close signal.
So I just press the button as long as I give the closing signal.
Correct.
That's correct, right?
Yep.
So that would close, and this is open. Close.
Bertolt spent months learning how to control his hand.
This is nice.
But this new limb can recognize the electrical pulses in his arm after just a few minutes.
We don't make you learn how to use the hand. The hand learns what you're trying to do.
Okay. Now it should have learned your signals.
Okay. Wow. This is amazing. I'm a little speechless. This is just awesome. Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for it.
Oh, this is lovely. Wow, did you see that? Did you see what I just did? Before today, I've never moved my left wrist. It's a sense that you're getting an extra bit of freedom that everybody else takes for granted. And then you walk out of there and then it's gone again. So that sucks, I think. I had a left wrist there for a moment.
In London, the world's first bionic man is coming to life.
The prosthetics are designed to take signals from the body, electrical signals that can be detected somewhere, whether it's in a nerve or a muscle, and turn those into commands. So what we had to do is to work out a way to fake those electrical signals that the prosthetic is expecting to see to get it to do things.
What on earth?
In Boston, psychologist Dr. Berthold Meyer is going to meet the inventor of some of the world's most lifelike bionic limbs.
I'm on my way to meet Hugh Hare, who designs bionic ankles that, from what I've heard, replicate actual biology. Apparently, it's a very special device.
Hey, hi.
Hi, hello.
The brains behind some of the biggest innovations in legs, MIT's Director of Biomechatronics, Hugh Hare.
Oh, wow.
So this is where we do the human testing on the ankle. We define bionic as using electromechanics to at least emulate biological function, and perhaps one day to go beyond biological function.
Hugh's invented a new generation of bionic ankles with the help of military funding.
Jen here has a pad that's communicating wirelessly, of course, to the bionic ankle. She's tuning various parameters. The timing of the ankle thrust is very, very important to walking efficiency.
I mean, just by looking at it from here, I mean, if he was wearing long trousers, you wouldn't realize that he's wearing an artificial leg, would you?
Right. Just like you don't realize I'm wearing two right now.
Wow.
Let me show you.
Oh, wow, this is amazing.
So fully articulating ankle. So it adapts. I can walk slowly. I can suddenly accelerate out.
Wow.
Stop immediately. The ankle has no idea what I'm doing.
Then how does it know when it's supposed to give power and when
It's
not?
just responding to my body. The ankle has no idea that I'm going up steps or going down, but it responds appropriately.
That is absolutely amazing. And also, I think they look actually quite nice.
To match nature's design, Hugh's ankles have a motor and spring system that mimics the calf muscle and the Achilles tendon.
We've worked on ankles for about 8 years, but we're only getting started. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of functionality.
So you're not just thinking ankles?
No, I'm thinking all body parts. Actually, I'm quite ambitious.
Hugh was a teenage climbing prodigy. When age 17, he got trapped in a blizzard and lost his legs to frostbite. But he soon began customizing his prosthetics so that he could climb again.
How many different pairs of feet do you have?
I have these bionic limbs, probably 3 pairs for climbing.
Oh, wow.
1 for ice climbing, 2 for rock climbing.
Oh, wow.
I have legs, you have shoes. My goal when I was a young man was to be the best climber in the world. And I was climbing better with artificial limbs than I had achieved before my accident with biological limbs. And to me, that was absolutely inspiring, because I realized that technology has this extraordinary capacity to heal, to rehabilitate, and even to extend human capability beyond
Transcend, in your case,
what
yes.
nature intended. If a fairy came and tapped on my shoulder and granted me a wish, would I wish my legs back? And absolutely not.
You wouldn't.
No. I think having normal bodies is boring.
You look very comfortable up there.
To me, it's almost like vertical dancing. Vertical dance. Unfortunately, it ends.
Yeah. He said normal bodies are boring. I found that, of course, great, because prostheses are not just an ugly tool that help to compensate for loss. It's something cool if you make it that, and that's how I feel the same about it.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
The slogan of the $6 Million Man program was, "We can rebuild you better, faster, stronger." That is an ancient aspiration. Our ancient spiritual traditions promised healing and magical powers and the ability of flight and the ability to run fast and long. The real point in question will come in our society when someone says, well, it's not just the people who've already lost those limbs. It's like, I want faster legs, so I'm going to cut the legs that I have off and get these faster legs. That's the real point at which society will have to figure out what they're going to do about these things.
Military-funded research is going beyond mere improvements to bionic limbs. Engineering company Boston Dynamics is producing some of the most lifelike robots in history.
Well, I think when it comes to our bodies, yeah, I think that the danger is that we might change what it means to be human and create a new species. That may turn around to bite us. Similar to that Frankenstein myth where your creature let loose in the world becomes destructive and uncontrollable. That's when you go too far.
For Bertholdt's bionic man to be more than just a set of body parts, he needs to be aware of the world around him.
When I first started coming here, I did have a little bit of central vision left. I could see bright lights and bright colours, but since then, as my sight's deteriorated, I can't even tell if the lights are on or off now.
Church warden Caroline Skinner is about to get a bionic eye implant.
Right, so the new window is on the right here. Now, maybe when the retinal implant works, I might get an awareness of the brightness that's coming through that window. Just an awareness of the brightness of that would be rather wonderful.
It is, in a way, the stuff of science fiction. We are hoping that patients who are completely blind will be able to see basic shapes and objects, to be able to navigate around, and of course, for them, to be able to see just something is a tremendous advance.
Caroline's having a microchip implanted in her retina, the delicate layer at the back of the eye, covered with 120 million light sensors.
We're putting at the back of the eye the electronic equivalent of the film of cells that these patients have lost.
The 3mm square chip has 1,500 pixels that turn light into electrical impulses to send to the brain.
It's a bit like if you're a postman, you're trying to deliver a letter, and rather than just pushing it through the letterbox, you somehow want to push it on their kitchen table, and you have to sort of use a device to feed the letter all the way through the letterbox, maybe along the corridor, around a couple of turns, and put it on the table.
Before Caroline's microchip is switched on, her eye needs time to heal.
Wow, who's this?
This is our version 1 artificial Berthold, as promised.
A month in, Berthold's bionic doppelganger has arms and hands for grasping, but no eyes to guide them.
Down a bit, down a bit.
So they've wired up a retinal implant similar to Caroline's.
Oh yeah, there.
Okay, there's something. That might be the hand, that might be the can.
Yeah, there.
You've got a corner with something on it. I can see the can. If you look on the screen, you can see the kind of image that we're getting from the retinal implant.
Wow, that's it?
Well, you can see there's something there. The retinal implants are very much designed around the idea that you have a human who has no data, give them some data. For a robotic system, it's actually easier to start with a lot of data and cut it down, because effectively a robot isn't very good at guessing. A human is very good at guessing.
For full 3D vision, an ingenious solution: the infrared camera from a games console.
This screen down here has the actual view that's coming out of the 3D camera.
And you can see its arms, cool.
This is it mapped into a 3-dimensional world.
Oh, wow. Can I have a glass of cola, please? Thank you. You're going to have a sip as well? Yeah? Okay. Cheers. No, okay. The retina implant is great, but it's only great in combination with the human brain that can make sense of it.
"5 weeks after the operation, time to flick the switch on Caroline's microchip eye.
Okay. Okay. Now, can you tell me...
Flashing.
Is there any difference? What, if anything, can you find on the table?
I'm certainly picking up 3 definite.
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought there was another one. 4.
Good.
Yeah.
When we see things, we all see things as flashing. It's just that our brain learns to interpret the flashing as an image.
Circle. Very good.
So in many ways, what Caroline is going through is she's seeing the flashing in a very similar way that she might have done very early in life when she first started to see as a new baby. And that flashing is then converted into an image.
I'm getting odd straight bits. I'm wondering if that's the triangle.
Okay, do you want to feel it? Well
Beautiful.
done. Excellent.
And then I get this beautiful flashing there, which is...
Okay.
What they're doing for me now, and what I'm helping them to develop, could come to something quite amazing by the next generation, or the next generation along. So it could help them. So I can enjoy the fun, and they can hopefully get the benefit.
After 2 months, Berthold's bionic doppelganger has an outer frame, but to bring him to life will take a bloodier kind of science.
Building an organ is quite something different than building a hand. A hand is basically a question of mechanics and engineering and maybe a bit of software, whereas building an organ, that involves biology, chemistry, medicine. That's quite a different scale of complexity.
Professor Alex Sefalian will create the Bionic Man circulatory system. He has a lab full of the world's most advanced artificial organs.
So this is the heart, artificial heart.
From artificial blood to an artificial kidney and a prosthetic replacement for failing lungs.
Blood goes in, oxygen goes in, and oxygenate the blood.
An implantable pancreas that releases insulin on demand to control diabetes.
So you can see even now, the insulin coming out. So yes, it does work.
And a spleen to stop trauma patients dying from blood poisoning.
Interesting device, So this is all clean blood.
Most of these are still prototypes. The hope is that one day they'll solve the worldwide shortage of donor organs. But one device is already saving lives. Carolyn Stewart couldn't live without her bag. It carries the power supply for the mechanical heart beating inside her.
I love the new technology. It gives us a chance. A person like with bad heart gives us a chance, a second chance at life.
Okay, I need you to take another breath for me. Can you take a breath in and hold it, please?
David Henderson's heart is failing.
Simple things I can't do anymore. And this is like the only thing left beside a transplant. And I probably don't make it until the transplant comes available. Hey, here we go.
Today, David's going to have his heart cut out by Dr. Daniel Tang.
It's an open heart operation like any other, but in this operation we're going to take out the majority of his heart and replace it with a plastic, pneumatically driven pump.
The artificial heart is made of 2 chambers that replace the heart's 2 ventricles, the workhorses that pump 8,000 litres of blood a day.
It's a big operation. Bleeding is a significant potential complication. He could certainly have a significant stroke. His kidneys could finally fail. He could then go into renal failure, but the risks are significant.
Great. Start draining all this blood off. Okay. 11 blade. All right. Can you go up, empty out a little bit more? All right. Scissors. Big heart, very small cavity, dilated RV associated with it. We are most definitely fully committed now. Leave a little volume on. Okay, a little bit of volume in again. 4 RB. You ready? So, rate of 40. Good. 200.
We are great death-denying species. Even though the death rate is 100%, it's very hard to find a human that accepts that.
You can empty out your vent.
I mean, in the last 150 years, life expectancy has increased 7 hours a day, every day. It's remarkable. It continues to do that. Is that good? It's horrific to say no to that question. But the answer is no, it's not good. There's a limit.
David's new heart cost $120,000.
Certainly, at anything like today's costs, there is no society on Earth, including the United States, that could afford to implant 100,000 artificial hearts a year. And people just couldn't afford it. Is it acceptable that just the rich people get artificial hearts and therefore they live longer? I don't think so. But is it also acceptable, therefore, to stop development of an artificial heart until we can figure out how to make an equal society where everybody gets one? I don't think that's possible either. So it's a problem that we haven't solved yet.
This is expensive therapy, and it uses a lot of resources. That being said, for the single individual who then, is able to return to their life, return to their families, it's invaluable. I mean, for me personally, I find it very difficult when the economists sit down and they talk about what is the value of a life?
To think that such technology has been developed that can sustain somebody's life is just amazing. There's no other word to describe it but amazing. And he's very fortunate to be able to be one of those people that is going to get a second chance in life. And we're excited for that.
When Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, scientists were experimenting with electricity from lightning to bring dead bodies back to life.
So we got all the organ in now, and so that's it. We're ready to put the blood in and circulate it.
But in the bionic 21st century, you just need to turn the power on.
Has a heart, and the heartbeat looks like the heartbeat of real humans, so that's a bit weird. Yeah. This puts having a prosthesis into perspective, because I mean this is not so much about cool or cyber or whatsoever. This is life-sustaining. This is a question of life or death.
The bionic man's almost ready to experience life beyond the lab.
So this is Rex.
Wow. It's huge.
To walk out into the world, he needs the balance of an exoskeleton designed to help paraplegics walk again.
Okay, should we try making it take a few steps? Jesus. That leaned over very, very far. Seeing the body walk for the first time, I think that was this kind of moment of coming to life. I was quite surprised that it worked this well without falling over. That was the moment where it, for me, really became the body for the first time. What's your name?
Call me Eugene. Eugene Guzman.
To give Bertolt's bionic alter ego a voice, they've hooked up the speech software used by Stephen Hawking to an award-winning internet chatbot.
What kind of music do you like?
Actually, I like Eminem. Eminem is a famous crapper. No, raper. Ripper. Yeah, I mean rapper.
But no matter how clever the software, there's one body part that computers cannot yet match. The human brain is made up of 100 billion neurons and is the most complex structure in the known universe.
Now, this rat in this tub has a cable coming out of his head.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, we're trying to read what the rat is thinking.
By reading these rats' minds, this lab is trying to build microchips to restore memory and one day cure Alzheimer's.
So the idea is, if a brain's damaged...
Yeah, or some stroke or something.
Or stroke? Okay.
Yeah.
To replace a certain area of the brain with a chip, is that correct?
Yeah.
Here is the surgery room. We prepare brain slice in this room.
Brain slices?
Yeah.
Professor Dong Song has spent 13 years studying the electrical signals in rats' brains.
Can everything that is in our head be reduced to electrical impulses? Is love, hate, fear, is that all just electricity?
Personally, I believe so. The brain has billions of neurons. They talk with each other in the language of electrical pulses, like blip, 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 this kind of code.
And you are learning that language?
Yeah, we are learning that language.
What about augmenting or extending functions of the healthy brain?
Oh, that's also possible. We have shown that we can actually enhance the memory function.
So you have a chip here that, if implanted into the healthy brain, increases the ability of the healthy brain by giving it a better memory.
Right.
Should we do that?
That I don't know.
Today I've seen a hybrid between a chip and a living brain. Absolutely futuristic. But do we have to think about the ethical implications? Yes, I think we have to. Honestly, I don't think that you can view the essence of what makes us human solely from an engineering perspective.
If we assume that you could make a brain implant that could work for concentration, or well, let's say we could raise the IQ, for example. The downside is that we're going to come up with a model human, kind of, and we expect everybody to live up to that model. And you're going to function at that level, you're going to think at that level, and if you don't meet that, you won't be equal in ability, and you won't be seen as equal by the people who do meet the societal norm. You'll be abnormal by definition.
The things I've seen have left me with kind of a weird mix of feelings. There's optimism that I might live to get an arm that's far more advanced than this one. But then you get developments that augment the healthy human body, which I still find a little bit scary. We might be at a point in science and technology where we see first glimpses of the possibilities to go beyond the limits of evolution. I think that really is a double-edged sword.
That's quite a good photo there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks really weird.
Let's try round two, shall we?
The final piece for the bionic man. A face in the image of its maker.
Rightio.
I am a bit anxious that this face mask will look just like the skin-colored prosthetic gloves for my hand. These things, by trying to look real and not quite making it, I personally feel that it's always super awkward.
There's a resemblance. It's unnerving, isn't it? That's, how do you feel, Berthold?
I think it's just awkward. I think I really don't like it. Yeah, it has this Frankensteinish creepiness to it.
Is it because it is absolutely still? It's not quite right.
Yeah, I
there's
think
no breath,
it has
there's no motion.
Quite a bit to do with that.
I think it's quite impressive. It looks very realistic. Like, you want to just touch it.
Yeah, I don't. I think I need a break. And will you stop laughing? I need a break. It feels revolting. How can I not feel personally connected to it? It has my hand and my face, the most distinguishing features of a human being. I thought this was going to be something great and beautiful, and it's not. It's this patchwork assembly of parts. You can see into the intestines. It's awkward. And on top of it, it has my face. I don't really know why I'm getting this kind of very strong emotional reaction to it, but it just looks horrifying to me. And then we have our robotics people around it, and I feel like they're just not getting it. You see, I've spent my entire life so far with, you know, trying to deal with the awkwardness of a prosthesis that I didn't find aesthetically pleasing. You know, for a long time, my prosthesis was, it was neither human-like, nor was it really aesthetically pleasing. And now, you know, my face is on top of something where not only does this apply to just a hand, but like to the entire appearance of the creature.
After 3 months, the bionic Bertolt is finished. He's a walking, talking, blood-pumping vision from our medical future.
I've got to say, I do feel a little bit guilty right at the moment. Bertolt's reaction was a lot more than I expected. The combination of the engineering and the organic and the biological has led to something that just has this very strong impact. But we brought together all these different things from totally different areas and got something that has actually got up and lurched into the world and effectively come to life.
What am I doing?
To truly embrace the artifice of man, any self-respecting humanoid needs the means to preserve its bionic dignity.
That might actually be a bit too light.
It's a good colour for him as well.
Yes. Oh God, much better. What I was thinking, a little piece of cloth to kind of, you know, one of these...
Next guy?
Yes.
Go and grab one for you.
Let's try this one, the upper one. Yeah, something subtle. Something, yeah. So, better. Much better. Oh, thank you so much. What a relief. I was really tense about the appearance of the creature, but I'm quite relieved about the reactions that we got from the crowd. You know, all the teenagers were like getting out their mobile phones and taking pictures, and I thought that was a good sign because there seemed to be more interest and more curiosity than repulsion.
This bionic man's outer shell hides a complex interior. For every nerve, there's a cable. For every tendon, a spring. And for every muscle, a motor. It's the combined work of hundreds of specialists and decades of research. A 21st century million-dollar man.
I think that we will look back on our current existence and think how terrible it was that we or our ancestors lived a short 80 years, forgot almost everything that happened to them, had to live with the constant fear of death and disease, had to let go of all the people around them as they slowly dropped away. Life will be much, much richer in the future.
What an amazing thing, you know, the arms, the legs, the organs. Wow, how innovative we are as humans, but it also shows what makes us human. All the things that are not in that creature. Guys, what do you think? A brain, feelings, emotion, intelligence, you know, we can't mimic them, but we can do great things with technology, which we can see really well, I think, in this artificial body that we built. Guys, this has been extraordinary. Thank you. What, you're not having a drink? No. Well, you...
Sorry.
That's okay, that has happened to me before. Don't worry about it.
How would you enhance yourself? Go to channel4.com/bionic to explore what's possible and to join a live Q&A with Bertolt Meyer. America's hottest new drama. The Golden Globe-nominated Nashville hits all the right notes over on More 4 Tonight. A record-breaking rivalry begins next.